a quick overview. It's going to be fast paced. I'm going to touch on each of the topics briefly. And then in November, we'll have another webinar where we can get into more specific on some of the topics, some of the larger topics like portrait flowing or designing a page and some of the just bigger topics. So again, this is being recorded and it will be sent out, but I am going to go ahead and get started. If you have a question, we are going to have a question and answer time at the very end. If you do have a question and you want to go ahead and type it in the chat, you're more than welcome to, and then we'll answer those when the overview is over. Or if you just want to jot it down and ask it at the very end, you can do that as well. So we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm using a demo site, but I'm going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between a few other sites as well, just to show all of the features. So when you first get logged in to your site, the URL is yearbook.lifetouch.com. You'll get logged into your site, and this dashboard is what always comes up first thing. So you have your project completion information on your main screen. So when your cover due, your pages are due, when your final quantity is due, all that information is going to be right here. Below that, there's a just a snapshot of how many pages you've completed at that point and how many books you've sold if you're using the sales tracker and the YB Pay option. And then your events are down here, your picture information when your YB Pay has been opened and some of that information. And then over on the right, here at the top, you have a preview yearbook. This is a way you can kind of flip through your yearbook once you have some pages saved, kind of like an online magazine. And that's preview yearbook. The change yearbook button, if you have used us before and you have a previous yearbook with us, if you sign in and you see like the 23-24 yearbook, this is where you'll click to change to the 24-25. And then you want to bookmark that site as your new site moving forward. So it'll always open to this site. But that's if you have a change yearbook button over, that's what that is for. And then your messages and updates. This will be new information that is posted. So just recently they put the new layouts guide and the new community image upload PDF on here. So this is just an area that you can check when you sign in to see if there's any new information that you can get to right here. And then tips, tools, and resources down here in the bottom right are a lot of links. It has our yearbook advisor support information right here to be able to call for yearbook site related questions or to email. And then there's also some links to some of our other guides and webinar series and YouTube training videos and all of that. So this is a good resource as well to get some of that information to you. Okay, so that's your dashboard. And then up here across the top are your main tabs. Depending on how wide your screen is, you may just have the icons or you may have the words with the icons. So right here, the first one under Book Builder, it's like a little open book as the icon. We're going to go over some of the features in this tab. So the first one we're going to go over is your contract and book settings. So this is just kind of making sure your book is set up the way you want to, the way you need it. So this is the size of your book, how many pages, whether it's a hardcover, a soft cover, what kind of design, cover design you have, all of that contract information is up here at the top. And then as you kind of scroll down over here on the left, you have some options that you can keep marked yes or mark no. The one in view options that might be one you may want to disable is your auto zoom, and I'll show you what that looks like later when we're talking about text boxes in the build screen. But this, if you don't like the text box to zoom out, you can come back in here and hit no and save, and then that will keep that from happening. Your snap to settings, this snap to page margins is defaulted to yes. I like to disable it personally because when you're designing your page, it gets kind of frustrated if things keep trying to snap over and you're not wanting it to snap over. So I always disable that. And then you do have the option to do some planning pages here. If you click yes, and then it'll give you the option to, I'm going to quickly go over to this site right here. So you can click yes, and then you can decide on the number of planning pages that you want. You can play on your regular pages, but this is just kind of a separate ladder diagram that will let you play without worrying about what's going on your regular pages. And you can select up to 12 pages. And once you have selected the number, though, you can't change it. So just make sure you select the number that you want. And then the community image upload. This is where people in your community, your staff, your teachers, any of your parents that want to share images with you for possible use in the yearbook, you can activate this. So you would click yes, and then hit save, and then you would come down here and create your invite code. So here's one that's already created. And so you would share this code with your family, excuse me, and staff members, and then they'll be able to log in and browse out and upload images for that. And then you'll also be able to add or manage your tags. So I would suggest creating tags that you want the parents or the staff members to upload to so that you can stay organized. But this is where you can go in and set those. And then here in the center is where you can add fonts. So the fonts that you see right here are already defaulted and they're already on your site. So when you go to the build screen, these are the fonts that you'll see. We also have some additional fonts. So if you hit add fonts here and scroll down to the bottom, there are a ton of other fonts that you can choose from. Some of them are fancy and fun, may go with your theme a little bit better. In general, you want to not use a whole lot of different fonts through your yearbook, so I wouldn't suggest selecting more than 3 to 5 here. One, it'll slow down the load time of your page builder because all of those fonts have to load. And you do want a consistent look through your yearbook. So you don't want a lot of different fonts fighting with each other kind of throughout your book. But if you do have a couple that you want, just click on it, add selected fonts, and then you'll have those available in your build screen. And then over on the far right is your portrait flow options. So you really just have 2 options. Don't worry about the homeroom option because we don't use our data that way. But if you're going to flow by teacher or classroom, you want to keep that selected. But if you are a middle school or a high school and you want to flow by the grade, then you'll want to select grade right here. And then down here is the not pictured student list. So when you all get the data to us for picture day and we don't photograph a student, so say John Smith wasn't photographed, you have the choice to, when you flow the portraits, for there to be an empty picture box with John Smith's name there, or you can take his picture later, upload it, and input it. But this right here is for the not pictured aspect of it. So if you want those empty picture boxes, leave this. But if you just want to list the names below the last row, and then you can delete them if you want to, then pick that option. And then you'll hit save. And if this is grayed out for some reason, it's because you've already flown something and you need to go unflow it and come back. And then you'll have the option to get back in there and change that option. And so then you'll hit save, and any changes that you've made on your contract and book settings page will be saved. Okay, and so now under Book Builder, we're going to go under themes. So we do have some themes already in here for you to choose from. So you can go down through here and see if any of these are going to be what you want for your yearbook. And each one of them has a cover that goes with it. And so you just go down through here. If you want to select a theme, I'm going to select this no limits to show you what happens. And so you're going to select the theme. It's going to ask you if you want to apply that theme. And what it's going to do, it has those 3 backgrounds right here that it's going to alternate those on your pages. And it's also going to give you some recommendations for embellishments, colors, fonts, and that kind of thing. And then it will also ask you if you want to use the corresponding cover for it. So if you hit yes, I had already been through this process, so it didn't ask me just then, but it will ask you for the first time you do it. And so you can hit yes, and then you can come in here and you can change, any of this information and update it and then submit to Life Touch if you're ready for that to be your cover and the words that you want printed right here if you're a signature design. If you're an original cover design, this screen will look different, and we can discuss that later. And so then also going back to themes, if you decide, let me show you the ladder diagram real quick. So this is how it alternates those backgrounds across the pages. So if you decide that that is not what you want at all, and you just want to go back to blank pages, we do have a no theme option that you can select. So you just go back down to no theme. It is right here, no theme design, and select that, and it'll turn all of the pages back to white. So you don't have to panic if you did something that you really don't want to do, or you can just, select another theme as well. Okay, and so then moving on to the ladder diagram that I just showed you a second ago. So this is the blueprint of your yearbook, and it's going to show you what goes on each page. So as you work on the book, you're going to see little thumbnails here. So whatever pages you've created, you're going to see a thumbnail of that here. And there's 3 different ways that you can look at this ladder diagram. This is the detail view, and so it looks kind of like a ladder. And then we also have the thumbnail view, which it just spreads it out a little bit differently. And then we have the list view. And this is helpful if you're wanting to do things to multiple pages at a time, because you can come in here and select the pages quickly and do things. You can also do some of these things from the detail view as well. But for instance, from the list view, if you're wanting to come in here and label your pages, which I would recommend, especially if you're having other people work with you as well, then you can come over here to the far right and hit edit all pages. And then you can come in here and type what is going to be on each page. This will help you be organized as well. And then you would hit, save all changes, and then your pages will be labeled, and you can search for certain pages. So if you want to search for 3rd grade, or you wanted to search for Smith, then you can search for that and it'll help you pull it up. So it's a little shortcut right there as well. And then in this list view, you can also, down here under selected pages, under more actions, you can do PDF proofs in bulk. You can set master pages in bulk, which we'll get to in just a minute what a master page is, and you can submit in bulk. You can also link if you're needing to move chunks of pages at a time. So this is just really helpful if you're wanting to move, link, proof chunks of pages at a time. We also have in your ladder diagram section, organized pages. So I will say, you can move pages around. I would highly recommend knowing what's going to go on each page and keeping to that and designing it that way, because there are limitations. You do have to move in spreads for the most part. And if you've already flown pictures, that can cause some issues. If you're trying to move multiple pages, you have to link them first, that kind of thing. But it is possible. You would just click on the pages that you're wanting to move to before or after a certain page and get those moved. And then you would hit save right here. But like I said, if at all possible, try and design it as it's going to be printed as you're going along. And then for master pages, so your master pages are pages that you want something on for multiple pages throughout your book. So for instance, if you're wanting to do something with your page numbers, if you had a fun theme and you want to put an arrow beside every page number and you want that all throughout the book, then you could add that little embellishment here, save this as your master page, apply it to your pages, and it would be applied to all your pages. If you want a certain background on all of your pages, so you don't want it alternating, but you want, say you're doing a Netflix themed yearbook and you want all of your pages black, then you would come in here, you would, change your background to black. You'd want to change your page numbers to white. You would save this as a name that you would recognize and know, and then you could apply this master page to your pages in the ladder diagram. So that is the reason for master pages. Or if you want like all of your portrait pages to be a certain background, then you can do that and just apply it to certain pages. So if you come back, say you put the background on there that you want, and you come into your list view and you're wanting a whole chunk of pages to be the parchment paper that you selected, then you would select those pages, come to more actions, set your master page, select that master page, and it'll apply that to all those pages. So that is what a master page is, when you might want to use it, and how to use it. Okay, so now we're going to move over to the third tab, which is like the little mountains, manage assets. I'm going to show you how to upload images. So these are going to be your candid images. Your portrait images are going to be uploaded automatically after retake day. So the Life Touch portraits, you'll just get an email that says, hey, these have been uploaded. But your candid images, you'll need to go out and upload to the site. So you can browse your Google Drive, you can browse Google Photos, or browse OneDrive. I have some saved on my computer, so I'm going to browse my local files. And I'm going to go to my swim folder, and I'm going to select all of these. I'm hitting my shift key and I'm selecting all of them, or I can, drag and grab all of them. Open these up, and it's going to process these, and then we're going to want to tag them for organization. So right now it says over here on the right, note, one or more images will be uploaded without tags and placed in the untagged folder. So right here is where you can add a tag to all of the images that you have sitting here right now. So if I wanted to call this swim, I would hit swim, I would hit enter, and that lets the program know I'm finished typing and this is the tag that I want. And now you can see that each of these images has swim. And you can also tag it multiple things. So if this is a fifth grader and I wanted to also tag it fifth grade because I might want to use it on my fifth grade page, you can do that as well. And then if it is tagged multiple things, once you've used it and saved it on a page, it's going to have a little green check mark. So you don't have to worry about accidentally using it on another page. It will at least let you know that it has been used before. So I'm going to begin the upload, and it's going to upload those images, and then it's going to fall into my images on the site. And within that screen, there are several things that we can do. So I'm going to go to my images really quick. And so as you see, I've uploaded some images, and now they look like they're in folders over here, or tags. So swim's the one that I just uploaded. I have 6 pictures. Those are the ones that I just uploaded in swim. Oh, look, I accidentally at some point uploaded 5 images that I didn't tag. So in here, you can come in and you can grab these images and re-tag them. Right over here, if you want to select all that is showing, you can just click this little 5 with the check mark, and it's going to select them all. And then I can come over here to my retag. I'm going to take away the untagged, and then I'm going to start typing in sports baseball. And so now all of those are tagged sports baseball, and I'm going to save that change. And now you can see my untagged folder is gone, and they are now under sports baseball. And this is also something for you to consider for your organization as well. If you want it to kind of be in subcategories, if like I wanted swim to say sports-swim, like if I wanted all my sports to be under sports and then the topic, just name it that way. Or if you want all of your third grade candid images to be under third grade dash and then the teacher's last name, and that's how you want to be organized, just upload them that way. So there's a lot of flexibility with these tags, but that's the best way to kind of do a subcategory type situation on those images. You can also delete images if you accidentally uploaded them twice. You didn't think they uploaded the first time. You can come in here and click and then just hit the little trash can over here, and that will delete those images. Also under manage assets are the portrait images, which, as I said, will be uploaded after retake day. This is a demo site, so it's kind of wonky. with the portraits that they've uploaded for us to use. But in general, you would have teacher classrooms right here if that's what you have selected. And then if you want to see grade, then you would also select grade over here and kind of see your grades spread out. To get to the images within one of the folders, you just click on the group name. So I'm going to click on Miss Ashley here and see all of her students. So this was a not pictured student. Like I was mentioning earlier, this would be an empty picture box that would flow if you choose to have not empty picture boxes flow onto your pages. These numbers on here, most of your kids will be like Callie over here and not have any numbers at all. You may have some that have a 2, and that is just a retake image that will be in there. So that means that they came on original picture day, then they also came on retake day. So just ignore all these other numbers from the demo site situation. But this does give you the option if, say Susanna came on original day, had a retake picture. The retake is what will be set to flow. But if the parent contacts you and says, I don't want that retake, I actually liked the original image better, you do have the ability to come in here and select the other image for that. So also in here, this is where, so once you get your portraits uploaded, you need to proof, and you need to figure out if you're missing anybody, if somebody came to the camera and didn't give their classroom teacher's name, and so they're just in their grade. You can search for subjects right here. So you can come in and you can hit a last name and you can find, so here's Bryce Bolin. And you're like, okay, well, where is Bryce? He's supposed to be, hang on, he's supposed to be in Ashley's classroom, but he's only in 2nd grade. So you can come right here and find Sarah Ashley, add him to that classroom and hit save. And now he is going to be in the classroom where he's supposed to be. Now we're going to go into Sarah Ashley. And you can see that now Bryce is where he's supposed to be in the classroom. You can also add students. So if you are missing a student, so let's go in here and let's say we need to add a student that came in later, then you can come in and add that student, add image. If you have already uploaded the image, it's going to be over here and you can just grab that tag. And if not, then you can come over here to there, go out and find the image that you want to upload it. You can tag it here. So if you want to say, new students, it's going to upload. And then you're going to be able to click to use that image. And there he is. So you're going to save that. He's going to be in that classroom now, and will flow alphabetically when you go to flow that image. So now he's in here just like he's supposed to be. You can also remove students. So say you're in Eric's classroom and Eric is like, Indy came, but he was just here like one day. You need to get him out of here. Then you can remove the subject right there, and it'll go to an unassigned folder, and you won't have to worry about that one anymore. Okay, so that was just a quick overview of the portraits. The only other thing I'll show you, you can go in here, and this is a way to help like designate or delegate some of your responsibilities, but to export as a PDF, you can export this class and then send it to your teacher and say, hey, I need you to make sure these kids are in your class, names are spelled correctly. If you're going to use nicknames, that kind of thing, I need your help doing that. So you can go into the individual sorts and print those PDFs and get help from your teachers or your guidance counselor, whoever can help you with that.
Hey, Paige, real quick, do you mind showing the unassigned folder and staff folder under my images? Just because sometimes we have unassigned students that might need to be somewhere if we didn't have the data.
Okay. Yes. So if we did not have any data for a student, there may be some under the unassigned folder. And so you can go to that folder. And this one held quite a few in it. I hadn't looked at this one on this demo site. But if there are some students in here, same way, then you would grab the student and say, okay, Joey, let's see, you don't have a group and I need to add you to a group. So you're in Mr. Eric's class. I'm going to add you and hit save. And then he's not going to be in that unassigned folder any longer. And he's going to be back where he needed to be. And what was the other thing, Lindsay?
Just the staff folder. How we have a staff one as well that's separate.
Yes. So the
I don't know
staff,
if we do on the demo. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
yeah. So the staff one will fall under grade, under STA. So when you go in there, this is where your staff will be. And you do have to sometimes clean up the staff because they may come and give you their classroom name and tell you the grade that they teach instead of, or tell our photographers that. And so sometimes you'll have to search for staff and kind of put them all in the one folder to be able to flow. And then you can also create new groups, like if you want the office staff to flow onto one page, or you can manually place them. Or if you want to create one just for faculty, then you can create a new group right here, call it faculty, and add subjects, go to that staff folder. Hang on, there it is. Go to the staff folder and select the ones that you want. This is the quickest way to add subjects to a certain group. And then you can save. And so that's your faculty now. That's a new created group in your created group section right here. And then you'd be able to flow those. Does that help, Lindsay? Anything else you can think of?
No, thank you.
Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to show you Life Touch images. So if we photograph some extra images, sports images, club pictures, anything like that, they're going to be uploaded to the Life Touch portal, which will then flow into your creation site. And they will come in under Manage Assets under Life Touch Images. So you'll go to your Life Touch Images folder, and they will be in here as unapproved at this moment in time. And so these are the images, and you can decide which ones you want to move over into your My Images to use on your pages. So this is a sports day that we did at one of our high schools. And so if you want all of them, just scroll down to the bottom and that will show all of them. So now it's showing a check mark in 72, and you can click all of them and then approve select images right down here in the bottom right. And it's going to now move those from this unapproved section over to your approved images, and it will fall into your images under this tag. So if you go to a page and look for my images, they'll be right here under that tag. And yet again, if you don't like that tag, you can go and retag them in My Images, but that's where they will fall from that Life Touch Images section. We also have those community images. So if somebody uses the community link that you send out, then there's going to be some images in here that you can approve. So somebody uploaded these 4 images to Fun Run. You can select these and you can approve them, and they'll go into your approved images, and then you can use them on your pages. Okay, so we are now going to move into the page builder. So this is where all the magic happens. This is where you are going to design your pages as to what is going to print in the yearbook. So I'm going to just zoom out a little bit so we can see everything on the screen. Excuse me. So what looks like a piece of paper is a piece of paper. You have your maroon line down here going down the center, which is your gutter. And then the yellow around the outside is your trim line. So that will be cut off. There's a little pink little area right here. Let me clear this background really quick so I can show you. Okay, so see the little pink right there that's going around the edge? That's kind of a danger zone. And so you don't want to put anything that you definitely want printed right there. Journalistically speaking, you want to try to keep the majority of your content within the blue line right here. Your page numbers are locked down at the bottom. If you go over the line, that's fine, and you will probably a lot of times. But just try, for the most part, to keep it within those blue lines and a little bit, off of that gutter so things don't get down in the gutter of your book. You also have all these little guidelines on here just to help you kind of get things laid out. And I'll show you later how to turn those off if you want to for some reason. I'm going to hit the undo button just to put that background back on. So over here on the left are your main items, big items that you'll add to the page. Across here is where you're going to kind of customize those. And then on the page as well is where you can customize them. So here over on the left, I'm going to show you layouts first. So we have some pre-designed layouts. We have portrait ones and we also have activity ones. I'm going to do the activities. These are for the candidates that you upload. And so we have some, lots of options here. We have some single page, we have some double page, but there's a lot of different options. And these are some that you can kind of pull over. I've got some favorites here that I was just going to show you. So you can drag and drop them onto the page. So when it turns blue, it'll drop on the left, the right. If I hover it in the middle, it's going to drop on both pages. And then you can also cover it up. But this is kind of a good starting point. If you're like, I just want a page of candidates, then you can throw this on the page and then you can change it up. So say you want to put a little piece of clip art right here, or you want to put some words or a headline, a second headline, or something right here. You can delete, you can change the sizes of the boxes. But this is just a good starting point for your design when you kind of start working on the page. And then if, for instance, you have this, but you have something very specific that you're wanting to design on the right-hand side and you're wanting to just add frames and shapes, you can do that. You can also copy and paste ones that are already on the page, or you can come over here and add. So I just, dragged and dropped this image box over. Just keep in mind, if you do the circle or the square, that it'll always be a square. Like it won't go rectangular. It won't go long or either any other way other than square. The square has to be square, but your rectangle has more flexibility. So I'll use that one probably more often than anything. You also have the shape box that you can pull over. If you're wanting to, do something, if you want to say, do a bar across the top, then you can pull this shape box over, put it on the page. And then this is where you'll start customizing. So it is kind of a layering system. So I put this on the page last, so it's on top, but I wouldn't want it to cover up my pictures. So when I have it selected, I can go over here to this little box over a box, hover over it, says order, and I'll want to send that to the back. And then that's going to send it to the back, and then everything else kind of comes forward in front of it. You can also change the color of it and do some other customizations with your little gear here. So if you hover over this little gear, once you selected the item on the page and go to tools, then you can change the color. The other good thing about having a theme is, so here's your theme colors. And so if you wanted to change it to a certain color that's going to be consistent with the theme that you selected, then those are right here. We also have some popular colors here. And then you can also pick pretty much any color that you want to right here. And if you have the code, you can enter it there as well. And then if you have a certain color that you love and you want to use throughout, you can add it as a custom color and it'll fall right here. And then you'll be able to have that on every page to be able to pull over. So I am going to show you. So say you wanted to line some pictures up right here. I'm using the shortcut Control C and Control V, or up here you have copy and paste, cut, copy and paste. You have those options along the top as well. But say you're wanting some images lined up here. I personally, we have such good alignment tools. I don't even try to line them up to begin with. So I throw them on the page and I'm like, okay, I want these now lined up, right? So I'm going to select all three of these. I'm going to hold my shift key down while I'm selecting the other two. And now all three of these are selected. Go up here to the top, and to the right of order says align. It's the little vertical lines. And you can align it to the left, right, top, bottom, or to the center. So just on this one, just kind of look at the words on the right for the most part, not worrying too much about the horizontal or the vertical aspect of it. So right now I'm wanting to align these to the top. So I'm going to click top, and as you saw, all three of those popped up, and now I know they're lined up. And then, for instance, say, I'm going to make this a little bit more obvious that they're not distributed properly. So now I want the even spacing between these. So the next option over is distribute spacing. So you will have to know horizontal and vertical here. This is horizontal going across the top, vertical would be up and down, but I'm going to hit that and it's going to distribute that spacing perfectly. So say, you know, you're wanting to come down here and have some more down through here. Like I'll throw them down like that, select my shift key, hold them all. Now I'm going to align it to the left. And then I'm going to distribute that spacing vertical because now I have vertical boxes and it's going to move those. So that's how you use our beautiful align tools and line things up on your page. Also, don't underestimate the power of the undo button. So if you get on here and you accidentally move that one, instead of trying to get it back or using the line, just make sure, just hit the undo button and then it kind of goes back to where it was. Now on the text boxes, so this is where I was talking about in the contract and book settings. When I double click on the text box, it's going to zoom in, which for the most part is fine. Sometimes if you're working on a tiny screen, it kind of gets lost a little bit. If you don't like the zoom, just go to your contract and book settings and disable that. But I'm going to hit Control A to select everything. And then going to type a nice message. Okay, so then now I can click on the text box and I can come in here to my settings and I can make changes. So I can change it to a different font. I can change the size. I can change the color if I want to come in here and change the color. So you can make all these changes right here on the screen. One note, if for some reason, like you have a tiny box and you're typing in it and you get this plus sign, this is telling you that there is text within this box that is not showing. If you hit the plus sign, it makes a second box. And the reason it is doing that is in case it thinks maybe you want to make columns. Like you have a huge story that you're typing out and you want it in columns. If you don't want it in columns, then you just need to move, like enlarge your text box. Sometimes you have to make it larger this way, that way, or change, decrease the size of your font. So, but that, just be aware, if you get that plus sign, there is text that you are not seeing that's not going to print. So just make sure you fix that before you submit those pages. All right. And do make sure too, like if you pull over a text box, so right here, just like the frames and shapes that you can pull over a text box. If you're ended up not going to use a text box, or you used a layout that has text boxes that you're not going to use, just make sure that you delete them. It just has filler text in it and it won't print, but it's just better to delete it. So just make sure that you delete any of those unused text boxes. You can also, hang on, let me delete it. Okay. Now you can also group things together. So say you decided, really, I want these three boxes down at the bottom. So I hit my shift key, I selected those three, and temporarily it will let me move this. But if I click off of it, they're not together anymore. So if you want to keep them together because you may move them often, you can select them again. And up here we have grouping, and you would just group those together. You can also use Alt-G. But now they're grouped. And then if for some reason you decide you want to move them closer together, you don't want them grouped anymore, you can come back here and ungroup. But you can kind of temporarily group And then you can more permanently group and then ungroup boxes as you need to move them around design-wise on your page. And then, let me see. Okay, so now you've got a template on the page and you're ready to put some images in it. So over here on the left, you have my images. And you're going to go, and so now you have your tags from where we uploaded earlier. And so say we're going to come in here to swim, and we're going to start adding some of these images to your boxes. So you just drag and drop it onto the page. To crop, and I know this was a question that we had, to crop, if you double click on it, you can come in here and you can zoom and move it within that box how you want it, and then click off of it. And that's how you crop it. So if I had hit fit here, which it's really tempting to do, it fits it back to either horizontal or vertical, whichever one fits better. And you'll just have to zoom again. But that is how you crop it, is zooming in, get it where you want it, and then clicking off of it, and that's going to set it where it needs to be. And so you can just drag and drop and, work. And then say, you put this one right here. If you don't want this one in here, you can clear contents. If you don't want to see it in there at all, you can just drag and drop another image over it. Or if you want to put this in a different box, once you click on it, we have this little 2-line swap button. And when you click on it, then it shows you all of the picture boxes that you can swap it to. So then I would just swap it to that one because it looks better in a horizontal box than a vertical box. So that's how you kind of work with your images on the page. If you hover over an image, it's going to give you the max print size. And so this is how large it will print on your pages. Now, these pictures are large. Let me see if this new student one is a little bit smaller. No, it's huge. Okay, so all of these images are good size and are going to be whatever size you want on the box. If it's tiny, if it says like 1 inch by 2 inch, and you try and drag and drop it onto the page, into one of these boxes, you're going to get a message that says that the picture box, the image box is too large for the image. And what that is saying is you have too low res of an image, and you need to reach back out to whoever gave it to you and see if you can get a non-compressed copy of that, original or actual copy of that, not compressed, so you can use it on your pages. Okay. So okay, tagging. So there's 2 different taggings. We have the tagging that you do when you upload images. Then we also have where you can tag an image for indexing or for the student frequency report. So if you're going to do an index in the back of your yearbook, you would come in here and you would tag that image. You would type in the name and hit save, and it's going to tag that image. Or you can use it for your student frequency report as well, which is something like if you have a goal of using every student in the yearbook 3 times and you're wanting to see if you have done that, if you tag your students throughout the book, you can run this student frequency report and see how many times each student is featured in the yearbook. So that's how you tag if you're wanting to use that for either of those 2 reasons. You can also come over here. And so this is where our backgrounds live. We have a lot of different backgrounds. You can search for different ones. If you're using a theme, you have some recommended ones. But this is where, like, I used a theme, so alternating it, put every other one. But if you want, for instance, like all of your 3rd grade to have the same background, you can just come in here and say, okay, this is a 3rd grade Canada page, so I'm going to have this color background here with my portrait pages, and you just replace that background that had been there. And then we also have embellishments, and you'll have recommended ones for your theme as well, or you can type in, if I could spell, and you can type in, and if you're wanting arrows for some reason, type in and find the arrow that you want, and then just kind of drag and drop it onto your page, and then size it how you want it and put it where you want it. So say you wanted that little embellishment right there. That's how you add your clip art and embellishment. And then let's say that you're like, okay, well, this is my, double page spread that I'm wanting here. And I am going to say this is a custom layout so that I can use this on other pages. On my second grade Canada page and on my first grade Canada page, I want this to be it. You can come over to, once you get everything how you want it, you can come up to your more actions and you can save it as a custom layout. So this is where you would name it Candid page or third grade portrait page or whatever it is you're going to name it. Keep it single left and right just because that gives you the option to put it on either page or a double page spread. Hit save, and that's going to save it as a custom template, and then it'll fall over here in your custom. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong thing. Custom layouts right here, and then you'll have some custom layouts there. And then once you get on that page, then you can drag and drop it over onto your page. And then, say you're wanting to clear the page, you can always come in here. Actually, let me say this first. So this is not an autosave program. You must hit this green save button as you go to make sure whatever you're working on is saved. So I'm going to say that again. Make sure you hit the save button, because there's nothing more frustrating than working on your page for 20 minutes and then I'm just going to make a change real quick and show you. And so then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to go look at such and such. And you try to go off the page and you hit this, okay. Well, you just did not save your changes. So just really, really make sure that you are saving and saving as you go throughout, so you don't lose anything. But you can, for instance, so you're like, I don't even want any of this on here. I mean, you can just drag and drop on everything. You can hit delete. You can come over here if you're just wanting certain things deleted. You can clear page contents, and you can clear like all of your elements if you want to keep your background, or you can clear your background if you want to keep your elements. But you have a lot of, different clearing options there. But that is one thing you can do. And then you can also copy and paste. If you're like, I really want this page somewhere else, just select all the stuff, copy it, move over to that page and paste it, and you'll have that over there. Okay, so I am going to show you really quick how to work with portrait layouts. So we also have a lot of different portrait layouts that are already created that you can look through. I did save a couple of favorites just to kind of throw over and show you. So you can drag and drop a portrait layout over onto the page, and then you can make some changes. So say this is going to be a classroom and you're wanting Miss Smith to be here, and you can come in here to your tools. So I've selected my portrait grid and I've gone to my tools, and you can make changes here. So you can keep it rectangle, you can have curved edges, you can have it oval. I'm going to do the curved edges just for fun. And then portrait size. So this is where you can change the portrait size. And you really just click above the letter, and it's just like a slight delay, and then the button will move over. But that's how you come in here and change the portrait head size, because it automatically defaults to A, which is tiny. So if you want it a little bit larger, then come in here and play with that. Then you can change the font and size of the name. You can change your name placement. So if you want it under instead of above, you can do that. There's a lot of flexibility with this. You can also, so when I moved it under, it gave, a lot more space there. So you can come in and you can play with your vertical spacing. You can get rid of a column. You can add a column. You can get rid of a row. So you can play with all of this. You can change the border color of it. So you can come in here and just play. And then when you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, this is what I want for my classrooms, yet again, you can come in here and save it as a custom layout. Do you kind of keep in mind sometimes where you click? So right here is a text box over a shape box. So right here, I've got the text box selected. Right here, I have the shape box selected. So it's just a barely like different movement. So I'm just going to drag this over and just make it larger. Just for fun, and move it to the back. Remember, order, send to the back. But that just makes sure if you're clicking on something, you're not being able to find it, just move your mouse a little bit more and try and find it. And then, so your portrait images. So this is how you would flow. So say I come in here and I want to flow Miss Ashley's class. I go to my teacher store, I find Miss Sarah Ashley, and I click on this big area like right here and see the words are kind of coming with it, and you just drag and drop it until it turns yellow over the portrait grid, and it's going to flow those kids onto the page. If you are flowing like a larger group, so say you're flowing all of your sixth grade and you have, your different templates set up, when you drag and drop it onto the page, it's going to ask you, are these the 4 pages that you want to flow it onto? It, you hit yes, and it'll flow it onto those pages. So now say you want Miss Ashley's picture right here. So I'm going to close this teacher store. I'm going to go to my grade because that's where our staff was. And this little arrow beside the group, I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up all of the pictures underneath it. And this is how you're going to manually grab and drag and drop an image into a box. So if you have like your admin that you're wanting larger on a page, your principals, anything like that, that's how you would manually add them, is to hit that little arrow, let it open up, and then drag and drop it onto the page. And then, as I said earlier, you can save and save it as a custom template. Okay, I think I hit all the main. Lindsay, can you think of anything to hit really quick before I go to the next one?
I think that's good for Page Builder. We can.
Okay. And so under resources and tools, we have a Smart Start. And this is if you used us previously, you would have the option to pull over some custom templates that you used last year. If you had some candid images that you need to use again, like ads, business ads, or something like that, you can get started and you can pull anything that you want over and import it into this year's book. And then my downloads. So when you are ready to proof your pages, so you have some pages that you're ready to proof, I'm going to go to this one that we created over here. Your PDF, you can proof from here. You can also proof from the ladder diagram, but you have a standard and a high res. The standard, if you click it, it automatically goes. It's a lower res proof, but it'll just automatically download and you can view it right there. If you want a high res, so say you have an image that looks a little blurry and you want to see, you can click the high res and generate download, and it's going to come into my downloads right here in progress right now. But once it's ready, then you'll be able to download that. So that is where your high res proofs go, is under my downloads. You also have order materials that you can come in here. If you want order forms, go through your sales rep and we'll get you some order forms printed. But this is if you need receipt books, some extra posters. You have a free advisor gift, this little 5x7 notebook that you can order, teacher envelopes, like collection envelopes. So there's some different things in here. You fill out your shipping information and then you get those shipped to you. And then we have some different tools and training tips right here. So we have topics over here if you want to scroll through these and click on that. This is in addition to that, my resources that I showed you on the front page. So that's your resources and tools tab. And then the next one is sales tracker. It's like a little graph as the icon. So we have the YB Pay, which is the online sales tool that parents can go online to purchase their child's picture. Let me go to this site real quick and show you. So this price right here, this is a different demo site, so it's set at 0, but this would be a price right here, and this is a price that we enter on the back end. So if this needs to change, you can let us know. So if it's at 25 and you really need it at 30, then let us know and we can get that changed. But you can also add tiers. And so say you wanted an early bird special of 25, you come in here, say what the start date is, the end date, the price, hit save, and then do any other tier. So last chance at 30. We also have the option in here to set up ads. And so if you have shout outs that 5th grade ads, 8th grade ads, senior ads, anything along those lines, business ads, you can allow them to purchase online. And then you can also allow them to create them through our ad builder site as well. So those are kind of the two options you have. You can have them just purchase online and then get you the material to put on the pages, or you can have them go through our ad builder and set that up. And we can get you more information on that if you're wanting information on that. And then down at the bottom is your, oh, hang on, is your YB Pay activation and shutdown date as well. So ideally, the online sales site would already be activated. And then if you needed to shut down on a certain date, you have control of that and can come in here and shut it down. But that's kind of at the bottom of that screen. And then under order management, this is where you can see a snapshot of the sales that have already taken place. You can see who has purchased. You can export that list. So if you go to view order list, you'll have a list of all of the students. And if you click only show records with orders, then you will be able to see the students that have purchased online right now. And then you can export it. So it says export all over here, PDF or CSV. So if you do CSV, it's going to do it like an Excel file. And it has a little bit more flexibility because you can control some of the data that way. But you can export that list and look at that for auditing purpose, for distribution purposes. To enter an order, you can use this. If you have personalization, you have to use our sales tracker so we know what names to print on the yearbook. But if you don't, you have the option to enter your paper orders from school. Like if people, come in with cash or check, you can use that and enter it in here, and you just start typing in the name, find the kid, enter all the information, hit save, and then it's going to be in your sales tracker site. And your final order quantity, so this is where you tell us how many books you want. So you'll have an agreed upon amount that was on your agreement here. If that's going to change drastically, get with your sales rep in case it affects your price. But you can add, you can enter your number here when it is time and get those books ordered. And then let's go to manage access. So this is where if you have either staff members that are going to be added, or if you have another teacher that's going to help you, you can come in here and add new user. And so you can enter the email address here, hit continue, and select their role. So there's different site feature access per different role. So an advisor and a primary advisor has everything, but like an editor doesn't. And so you can come in here and customize it if you want. You can also select specific pages. So if you do have a yearbook staff and you just want them to be able to work on the pages that they have been assigned, you can select all the pages, change them to view, and then just for that student say, okay, well, they're going to be working on page 2 and 3 and on page 6 and 7. So I'm going to give them editing rights on those. So you've got some different options there. You also have, if you have students that do not have an email address, then you can come in here, put their name in, create them a username and a password, and then they'll use that username and then at whatever this is to log in with that password, and then they'll be able to get in and access the site. And then the only other thing I was going to show you under manage access, we do have hidden pages. So if there is for a reason, like if you have 5th graders or 8th graders or seniors on your staff and you don't want them to see their senior ad or something like that, you can hide those pages and then they don't have access to them. Okay. Whew. That was the super quick, fast-paced overview of the site. So we will now open it up for questions. Lindsay, did you get some questions in the chat? I don't know if any came through or not.
Yeah, I have one, but I think let's open it up for questions and we can always take that one offline too.
Okay.
I have that information already. And then if anybody needs to hop off, we will continue this webinar until all the questions are answered, and we'll send the recording out if you need to drop, because I know we are at that 5 o'clock time frame. All right, so it looks like we have one question from Karen. So Karen, if you want to go ahead and go off unmute and
Hi guys, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay, awesome. Awesome job, Paige. Wow, that was
Thanks.
awesome. I have two really quick questions. I may have missed it. Is there still a Smart Start option on this year's book? That was question one. Yep, there we go.
Yes, there is.
I don't know whether you hit on that and I blurred
It was
out.
super fast, but I did.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that was still there. And then one other quick question regarding when you talked about how many fonts are already in as default fonts, and that the more fonts that are in, the slower the site could possibly go with rendering pages. Would you recommend unchecking a bunch of those default fonts that you're not actually gonna use so that the site runs quicker?
So the default fonts that are on here do not impact the speed. And you
Gotcha.
can't uncheck them. So those are automatically on there. It's just if you add, like we had a school one time come in and select every single one of these and add it to it. And it was just not good. So yes, and you don't want, for the consistency reason as well, you only want, a certain amount of fonts kind of going through your yearbook anyway. But really the slowing down part would be if you added a ton of fonts.
Gotcha. I just wanted to be clear on that because I saw the little check marks in green next to those default fonts, and I wondered if you could uncheck them and if that would make a difference with, the rendering of your pages as you went.
Right. Yeah. No, those are in there for good.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions or want to come off mute or type a question in the chat? We'd be happy to answer it. Oh, Doris, I see your hands up if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, hi. I was in Carline earlier and I think I missed like the first 15 minutes. So where would I have access to this recording after the meeting is done?
Yes, I'm going to email it out to everybody that signed up to join once this is over.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, Doris. It's Candy.
Aw. Does anyone else have any questions?
I had a question, but I think you guys said you were going to wait till afterwards. It's not the theme. I wanted to change the cover of our yearbook and it won't let me.
Okay, so you have a pre-designed cover, it looks like, and you want to change to a custom. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
Okay, so you'll have to work with your sales rep to change that. That is something that is part of the contract, and there is typically a price difference. So do you know who your rep is?
I think I got cut off, but I emailed her a few times and I haven't heard back from her yet.
Okay, all right, I will make sure that we get you two connected. I think I have your contact information. Did you have any other questions that we can help you with? No? Okay.
My service keeps going in and out, so I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey,
No, it's all right.
Jessica, this is Missy. I'm your rep, and I don't have any email from you, so I'm going to go ahead and reach out to you. I'm hoping you haven't been reaching out to the wrong email address.
I probably have, knowing me, but because I was going to say last year you were very, like you answered right away last year, so I probably did something wrong on my end.
Yeah, let me send you a message real fast, and we'll connect.
Awesome.
Okay.
Nice. Love that.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. Well, everybody will be getting a survey just asking for your feedback on today's webinar, and hopefully it was helpful in getting started. Our hope is to have another webinar in November. We're leaning towards November 21st right now. And based on those results, we'll kind of put together a new topic and maybe dive a little deeper into the yearbook site. I know today was kind of a crash course, but like we said, I hope it was helpful. So if you have any other further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. You can contact me and I will make sure that we put you in the right in contact with the right person too. All right, Karen, you have another question?
Just one other quick question, because with all of the storm stuff that went on, I feel like there were a lot of schools that maybe got caught off guard with this being today and maybe didn't register because they were just unable to join. And you said that you'd email it out to the people who registered. Is there going to be a link that I can send it to some of my schools that did not have an opportunity to register? Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. No
Perfect.
problem. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. Paige, I'll let you close this out.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Be looking for the email with the recording. And happy yearbooking.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
See
No
ya.
problem. Bye. Okay. Looks like we have Life Touch employees. Okay, we're good.